Hi, my name is Alex Munoz, and today I'm going to be looking at some more lights. Actually LED lights. I've got a bigger panel from Pergear here. As you might recall, I reviewed the Pergear A168 before. You guys might remember that box. And I have that here with me just for comparison purposes. But what I want to do first is I want to take a look at this bigger light so that we can see what difference actually does it make because it is bigger. And the concern that I had essentially is that the A168 is a great light for on camera. But what if you need a little bit more light? So that is when this Pergear panel comes into play. You know, it arrives in this like neat little case here, and I'll open this up for you so you see what's in there. Put this aside for a second. It has like a little manual here, and this light is actually called the Lightmade S, and manuals in English and Chinese, it seems. So it's great. And inside the box, it depends on what version you're probably going to get is a power supply, which looks like this. It's a 12 volt, was an international travel power supply that offers 110 to 240 volts. And it has a 3 amp 12 volt output. This is going to be important in a second. I'm going to show you just why. My package also came with 2 batteries. These are your standard NPF type batteries. These are the 6 cell batteries, I believe. And they have 6,600 milliamps in this case. So I'm just going to put them aside and take a look at this. So when this package arrives, what you're going to have is this Lightmade S. And this might kind of look weird at first, but actually this has a purpose. So this is actually a diffuser panel, and what you see here right now is actually the protection on the acrylic, preventing it from from arriving scratch or anything like this. So you can remove this if you want to use the diffusion panel. And this is actually a solid piece of plastic or acrylic. And this diffusion is held in place by these little 2 tabs here. So as soon as you push one down, you can pull it out. So let me just do that for you so you see what's going to happen. I'm going to push this down right now, and I can pull this out. So this is polycarbonate acrylic thing. It has this protective cover on it that you can unpeel, and then what's left is basically the standard kind of like diffusion panel, right? Looks like this. Okay, I'm going to put this aside for a second here because we're not going to need this. What you then have is the panel, and as you can see here, it has a substantial amount of LED bulbs, and what Pergear says is that this particular light has a CRI index of 95 or better, and this is actually the 5600 Kelvin color balance or daylight balanced version. It has a 29 watt power output total, and it's rather small. I mean, if you look at this, it's very thin. This is what I really like. This fits in your bag easily and you can take it anywhere. It has these metal knobs here that allow you to angle and turn around your light in whichever shape. And of course, this is all metal here, so the metal mount, metal screws, which is perfect. So this is very durable. It also has some threaded holes in the front here. So if you look at those threaded holes in the front, you might wonder what are these threaded holes for? So these holes that you can see here in the front, actually, they have a purpose. You can attach barn doors to this light. Unfortunately, the barn doors didn't come with my light, so I can't show you how that looks like. But yeah, I mean, the panel is very sleek, it's very slim. What you can also do, let's say you want to mount this on a tripod, right? And fixed in a corner or something like this, and it has to be as small as possible. You can unscrew this, and then when you do that, it has a standard tripod mount hole here, so you can screw the panel directly onto a tripod stand. If light stand, if you want a tripod or a light stand, both will work just fine, and it's on both sides, which to me is a great way of mounting this if you don't want to use the mounting bracket. So that being said, a lot of more bulbs, and I'm just going to show you this in comparison to the one A168. Just unbox this real quick. Of course, it's a much smaller light. They both use the same battery, so I can use this battery here and there. But as you can see, just in comparison, completely different amount of bulbs. So one might just assume, oh wow, so many more LED bulbs, this light has to be much brighter. But I'm gonna talk to you about it in a second. I'm going to show you that this does not necessarily have to be the case. So let's take another look at what we have on the Lightmade S. So if you look on the back, this is all aluminum. So this is not plastic. I like this. The only plastic part are these protective edges here. Everything else is metal, which is great. So this is going to last a long time, I'm sure. If you look in the back, it has a 12 to 15 volt power input. This is where this power supply comes in handy. So if you're shooting, you can just hook up the power supply and you don't have to worry about running out of batteries. It takes up 2 of these NPF batteries, and obviously you can use the smaller ones, but then the runtime is much, much shorter. So you can then decide whether you want to use the battery or the AC power. So you just pop them in here right here. And then you turn this on. And then you have a dial in the back, as you can see here right now. The dial basically allows you to dial up the intensity of the light, dial up and dial down. It's pretty stepless. It doesn't have any major jumps. It looks pretty smooth to me. Just gonna hold this in the camera, it's probably, but it gets bright at first, and if you're really close to the light, but if you actually compare this to the A168, it's not much brighter, to be honest. It's much broader, and this is where this becomes very interesting. So on the back you have that switch, you can turn that on and off, and the only thing that I found that I didn't like about this light is that there is no indication as to how full the battery is going to be. There's no battery indicator that says, hey, you have like 2 bars left or 1 bar left and you're going to run out of juice. So on location, if I have an assistant and he's in charge, or a gripper or whatever, and they're in charge of looking and making sure that I'm not running out of batteries while I'm filming, then this is a problem because they don't know what the charge status is of the battery. So unless you have a battery that has a built-in charge indicator, which most of these batteries don't, then yeah, you're out of luck, and you might just run out of energy in the middle of the take of your life. So I think that's a little bit of a shortcoming, but what I like, overall the light is very small, it's very portable, and it's very well built. I mean, it doesn't have any, it doesn't feel cheap. I think it's very affordable. I think they sell for around $150 or something like this. So it's a great light for the money because it fits everywhere. You can use it as a booster light. So you could just go ahead and put it behind your subject if you want a rim light or something, and if you want a kicker or whatever you want, and you just need this little bit of light, or you're shooting in a car and you need a little bit of light and you need to put that somewhere just to give that little bit of edge and to be able to push your ISO on your camera maybe 1 or 2 stops, just to avoid so much noise. Then this is perfect. I cannot tell you how long it runs on these batteries because I have yet to run them completely down, but what I did is I did some testing with this light and compared it to the A168, because initially what I was hoping was the A168 is a great light. What I did is, in the past I've used it in interview type settings, and what I also did is I used it to create interesting catch lights, because sometimes when you're shooting you have enough light outdoors, but there just aren't any catch lights. And so by putting this on the camera, you can actually see a catch light on the eye, which makes the overall look far more appealing. And it's not so much about throwing a lot of light at your subject. It's really about hey, I want to just add that little catch light. And for this was great. So I was hoping, I'm going to get this Lightmade S, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to have a lot of more light at my disposal. Well, it's not like that. So although this has roughly 2.5, 1, 2, 3, probably three something times as many bulbs as this one. So you would assume it's at least, like, say, twice as bright. It's not. So what I did is I shot both lights against a plain wall, put a little focus mark in the middle, and you know, took these two pictures that you guys are going to look at right now. So in this first one, I used the Pergear A168, and as you can see, it looks fairly bright, but the main area where the light is focused is very much in the middle, which is great if you use this as an interview light, because you know, you don't have enough power to light the entire scene, but you want to make sure that the subject that you're interviewing has enough light on their face. And for that, it's great. If you want to illuminate or light a larger scene, or use this to, you know, to conduct larger interview groups, or there's really bad lighting there and you really need to add a lot of light, then you might run into the problem that this is not enough. And I was hoping that the Lightmade S, which I'm showing you right now, has a significantly higher output and therefore is brighter. So instead of, let's say, shooting at ISO 800, the Lightmade, so I was hoping, would allow me to shoot maybe at ISO 400 or ISO 200, but unfortunately that's not the case. As you can see, the spot brightness is actually a little bit lower than it is with the A168. However, the light is dispersed or distributed across a much larger area, so it makes this automatically a much softer light. So if you use this for interviews, for LEDs, just like with any other light source, the same rules apply, meaning that the larger the light source in relation to the subject, the softer the shadows or the softer the light is going to be. And so by having a panel that's 3 something times as big, and you know, you bring it close to the subject, let's say 3 feet away, like those two pictures that I just shared with you, they were both taken up 3 feet away. So in both cases, the lights were 3 feet away from the wall. I think that it will provide and produce a much more pleasing result. So what you will be able to see is that at the end of the day, the Pergear Lightmate S will not provide you with more light, in a sense, more light on your subject directly that allows you to shoot at a lower ISO, but what it does, it provides a much nicer light over a wider area, over a much larger surface area, which creates a much softer, more pleasing light in video. So if that is not enough, of course you can always use the light and shoot it into an umbrella, but given the amount of light that these panels produce, you will likely not have enough output to get any significant output. So that's it for me. Unfortunately, the Lightmade S doesn't produce enough light to replace all my other light sources, namely larger LED lights and more powerful LED lights. But as a video light or as a fill light, it is a great solution. It's a very affordable solution. So make sure to hit those links in the comment section and make sure that that you check them out. They come in a variety of packages, and let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching.